It was a song that defined a generation, particularly my generation, sung so beautifully and rather sexily by a leotard-clad none other than former Grease star. Who are we talking about? Well, as ever, the wonderful Olivia Newton-John. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Hope you're keeping well today, nice to have your company. And as ever, we're taking a look back at one of my favourite stars actually. I was lucky enough to meet Olivia Newton-John. She came in fact to some studios just across the river here called Millbank. And you know when you meet a very big star and you're a bit nervous because you've liked them. And I've got to tell you this, I don't know if you found this, but it's worse actually when you've actually bought their product because, you know, I remember going into things like Boots, the chemist. They used to sell records, yes. Not back in the Middle Ages, no, a few years back, but they used to sell records. And you could go in and get 7-inch vinyl records with a picture bag sleeve. And this particular record I bought that week in September 1981 was none other than Physical by Olivia Newton-John. This was considered rather raunchy, although it bypassed me, as one can imagine. This was the craze, of course, of Jane Fonda and Go for the Burn. Do you remember that? So this record really personified that era. It was quickly followed up also by another wonderful singer, Diana Ross, who had a similar track called Work That Body. The reason they all came out with these songs, I have to tell you, is they worked very well for the video workout market and of course the emerging gym circuit that was taken over here in the United Kingdom and around the world. But Olivia recently has just repackaged that particular album and the single has been re-released and remixed. What I like about it is it truly hasn't aged. If the video looks a little bit cheesy, as she told me, at the time she had no idea of the connotations that the lyrics were about, and more importantly, whether the video was considered raunchy. For her, she said she had serious doubts because it was a total change of image. Remember, we'd loved her as Sandy, even a sort of nice Sandy, and then of course she went to a little bit bad Sandy. But prior to that, of course, she'd sung with the evergreen Sir Cliff Richard and had those wonderful hits like Sam, A Little in Love, all that sort of stuff, you know. Now for me, I don't know whether you think this, but I believe that Olivia's movie and performance in Xanadu, which was assisted by the Hollywood legend Gene Kelly, is really up there. The songs by the Electric Light Orchestra and of course Olivia's voice are just sublime. But for Olivia herself, she told me that she almost turned down the track Physical because she did think at the time it could be very difficult for her image. More importantly though, for Olivia Newton-John, Rod Stewart had turned it down, and allegedly so had the diva Tina Turner. So for her, it was a lucky hit. The single and the album went double platinum and it still sells amazingly around the world. But as I recall looking back at this particular footage with the glorious Olivia Newton-John, she said that radio stations banned it because they considered it way too raunchy to play on daytime radio. This was only the early 80s. How times have changed. Now don't just sit there, come on, it's time to get up, get some exercise and get physical. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.